Picture this. You're standing at the edge of a gravel driveway, and before you rises something that defies every expectation you've ever had about what a home should be. Steel beams reach toward the sky like the bones of some magnificent creature, but through those industrial windows, you catch glimpses of copper pots hanging like art, marble countertops that catch the afternoon light, and flames dancing in what appears to be. Wait, is that a professional kitchen? Inside a barn? Welcome to the phenomenon that's rewriting the rules of luxury living. The Culinary Showpiece barndominium. And trust me, this isn't your grandfather's barn anymore. You see, there's something almost poetic about taking a structure that was once built for hay bales and horses and transforming it into a temple of gastronomy. It's the ultimate plot twist in architectural storytelling. For decades, we've been told that luxury means ornate columns, crystal chandeliers, and manicured lawns. But what if I told you that some of the most breathtaking culinary spaces in America right now are housed within corrugated metal walls? What if the future of high-end cooking isn't happening in stuffy McMansions, but in wide-open spaces where the smell of fresh-cut timber mingles with the aroma of simmering reduction sauces? This is where dreams get built. Literally. Let me take you back for a moment. The barndominium concept isn't exactly new. Farmers and ranchers have been converting barn spaces into living quarters for generations. But somewhere along the way, something magical happened. Architects started paying attention. Interior designers started salivating over those soaring ceilings and exposed beams. And chefs, the chefs started to dream. Because here's the thing about a barndominium that makes it the perfect canvas for a culinary showpiece. Space. Glorious, uninterrupted, do whatever you want with it space. We're talking 40, 50, even 60-foot clear spans with no load-bearing walls to tell you no. No structural limitations saying you can't have that 14-foot kitchen island you've been sketching on napkins. No contractor shaking their head when you mention you want a wood-fired pizza oven, a professional range, and a separate pastry station. In a culinary showpiece barndominium, the word no simply doesn't exist. Imagine walking through the enormous sliding barn door. And yes, we're keeping those because they're absolutely magnificent, into a space where industrial meets elegance so seamlessly you can't tell where one ends and the other begins. The ceiling stretches 20 feet above you, crisscrossed with black steel beams that aren't hidden behind drywall, but celebrated, showcased, turned into part of the design itself. Pendant lights drop down at varying heights, each one carefully chosen, casting pools of warm light over different zones of this culinary cathedral. And then you see it. The kitchen. But calling it a kitchen feels like calling the Sistine Chapel a church ceiling. This is a statement. This is where form and function have a love affair and produce the most beautiful offspring imaginable. The island. Oh, that island stretches for what feels like miles. Thick butcher block on one end for prep work that would make a Michelin-starred sous chef weep with joy. Waterfall edge quartz on the other, so pristine and elegant that your guests will unconsciously lower their voices when they approach it, like they've entered something sacred. Behind it all, the range. Not just any range, but a professional-grade beast with 8 burners, a griddle, and a double oven that could roast a turkey and bake sourdough simultaneously without breaking a sweat. The stainless steel catches the light from those industrial windows. We're talking floor-to-ceiling glass that fills the entire eastern wall, and suddenly, cooking breakfast becomes a performance art piece with the sunrise as your backdrop. But here's where the barndominium truly separates itself from traditional luxury homes, and this is crucial: authenticity. See, in a conventional luxury kitchen, everything is about concealment. Hide the appliances behind cabinet panels. Tuck away the storage. Make it look effortless and untouched, like food magically appears without the mess of actual cooking. But in a culinary showpiece barndominium, we celebrate the tools of the trade. Those copper pots? They're hanging from a custom steel rack suspended from the ceiling beams, catching light and creating shadows that dance across the polished concrete floors. That collection of cast iron skillets? Displayed proudly on open shelving made from reclaimed barn wood that might have come from this very structure's previous life. Everything tells a story here. Every choice is intentional. The concrete floors, sealed and polished to a glossy finish, aren't trying to pretend they're marble. They're honest about what they are, and in that honesty, they become something even more beautiful. Radiant heating runs beneath them, so your feet stay warm even in the depths of winter, but you can still see the organic variations in the concrete, the subtle color shifts, the character. And the walls. Oh, the walls tell perhaps the most important story of all. On one side, you might have the original barn siding, weathered in gray, each plank bearing the marks of decades spent protecting livestock from storms. But it's been cleaned, sealed, and turned into a feature wall that grounds the entire space in its agricultural heritage. On the opposite side, floor-to-ceiling windows frame views of rolling hills or dense forest or whatever landscape drew you to this plot of land in the first place. This is the magic of the culinary showpiece barndominium. It never lets you forget where you are. You're not in some sterile, could be anywhere kitchen. You're in a specific place, with a specific history, cooking in a space that honors both where it came from and where it's going. Let's talk about the dining experience, because in a true culinary showpiece, the kitchen is only half the story. In a traditional home, the dining room is separate, walled off, disconnected from where the magic happens. But here, in this open expanse, the dining table becomes an extension of the cooking space. A massive live-edge walnut table, because of course it is, seats 12 easily, 16 if you squeeze. It sits beneath a custom chandelier made from Edison bulbs and more of that black steel. A piece that cost as much as some people's cars, but worth every penny because it's not just lighting a room. It's defining the heart of a home. Your guests don't just eat here. They experience. They watch you work. They see the flames leap from the range when you deglaze a pan. They hear the sizzle, smell every layer of the meal as it comes together. Cooking becomes communal, social, the opposite of being isolated in a closed-off kitchen while your friends awkwardly sit in another room wondering if they should come help. And here's something that might surprise you. The barndominium structure actually makes you a better cook. Seriously, that open space, those high ceilings, the natural light flooding in from multiple directions, it changes how you move through the kitchen. There's room to breathe, room to think. The stress that comes from cramped quarters and bumped elbows simply evaporates. You can have 3 people prepping simultaneously without anyone feeling crowded. One person at the island chopping vegetables, another at the range managing proteins, a third at the dedicated baking station rolling out pastry dough. Speaking of dedicated stations, let's dive deeper into the layout possibilities. Because once you free yourself from the constraints of traditional home construction, the functional zones you can create become limited only by imagination and budget. Want a walk-in pantry the size of most people's bedrooms? Done. Imagine floor-to-ceiling shelving on 3 walls, a rolling ladder like something out of Beauty and the Beast, room for appliances you only use occasionally, bulk storage, even a second refrigerator or freezer. Or maybe you're serious about baking. Not just serious, obsessed. In a barndominium, you can carve out an entire pastry station with marble countertops kept cool for working with dough, a dedicated proofer, shelving for all your specialty equipment. It becomes its own room without walls, defined by function and flow rather than drywall and doors. Some culinary barndominiums even incorporate a separate catering kitchen, a service area where the messy prep work happens, leaving the main showpiece kitchen pristine for the final plating and presentation. It's the kind of setup that professional chefs dream about, the kind of thing you'd see in a high-end restaurant, but you're doing it at home. The wellness angle has become huge in these spaces too. We're seeing more and more designs that incorporate herb gardens directly into the kitchen, living walls of basil, thyme, rosemary, and oregano that you can snip from while you cook.